Well, hello, Kitty. Look who's here. All our fans are out there. There has been much talk about the ability of the Celestial series and the Copper Swirl series by Rough Ryder and their ability to glow in the dark. And what I did was I inserted these Copper Swirl Cub lockback I have along with a Victorinox Classic SD and a Glow Mini Sodbuster by Rough Ryder inside of this three-way LED light, each one of them for approximately 30 seconds. I put the Classic SD in first, the Rough Ryder Sodbuster Junior in second, and then the Cub lockback in third. So it was in for 30 seconds at the very end, and then I proceeded to take pictures of it right after coming out, and then every minute thereafter. And I just want to show you how much it glowed and how quickly the glow dissipated by looking at those photos. Okay, I'm not even sure if this is going to show up on the camera, but this is the Cub lockback. I'm holding it about 4 inches from my iPhone. This is after 30 seconds inside of that little tube of LED lights. And you can see it sort of in there. Actually, you can see the blade shine better from the little bit of light from a window behind me. And here is the Victorinox Classic SD. Now this is after about 10 minutes of being outside of the tube. This one, the Cub lockback, I just took it out of the tube. I put it back in there, and so that you might be able to see it on here. But this is the Classic SD, and this is the Sodbuster Junior. And again, the Sodbuster Junior and the Classic SD are after 10 minutes of being inside the tube. The tube, they were in there 10 minutes ago for 30 seconds. This one was in there, well, a minute and 11 seconds ago. Minute and 15 seconds now ago. And I don't even think you can see it anymore. But let's take a look at the photos and we'll go over it from there. Okay, and a couple hours later, this knife is still glowing. Same with this knife. This one, there is actually no glow properties left in it after a few hours. Well, there was no glow properties left in it after basically 8 or 9 minutes tops. And I think that is what Brian Wilhoit was talking about when he said they didn't want to advertise these knives as glow knives because, well, They didn't know how well they glowed, and they weren't sure if every one of them glowed. So results may vary. Maybe yours will glow for an hour, or maybe it'll glow all night. But for me, this knife glowed for approximately 7 minutes tops before I really could not see it from a distance of, say, 1.5 feet. I had it really close up to the camera to get anything showing up. Now, this is the copper swirl. Maybe the Celestial series works a little bit better. But the bottom line is, if Rough Ryder had advertised these knives as something that would glow in the dark, and it only glowed for 7 or 8 minutes, I think they would have had all sorts of people complaining about it, and a lot of people returning them. As it is, it's really just a really cool looking knife with the copper swirl handles to begin with. And the fact that it will glow in the dark for, you know, at least in my case, for about 5 to 7 minutes is kind of a neat little add-on and little novelty idea. But I would not consider this a knife that glows in the dark. It just has a little bit of glow capability for a very short time period. These knives, on the other hand, actually glow in the dark because they continue to have a glowing potential for several hours, not a few minutes. Again, results may vary. Maybe yours will last for an hour or two, but that is the reason why I believe Rough Ryder chose not to advertise these knives as something that glows in the dark, because it's not a, it does not reliably glow in the dark, and they did not want to guarantee something that was not reliable. What you got is a really cool looking knife. Okay, I'm done with this. Hope that helps you out a little bit, you glow folks. It is pretty cool, but I would not consider it a glow-in-the-dark knife because of the length of time and that it will hold the glowing power. I know what you're asking after me saying doing this video. I mean, is it 5 minutes? Is it 6 minutes? 7 to 8 minutes? Is it 10 minutes? How long is it that this particular knife glows? How long is it that the Cub lockback glows, considering I was very inconsistent in the length of time I was giving for how well it glows? And that's mainly because it depends on how close the knife is to you. So if I were looking at this knife after, say, 4 minutes, and it was this far away, which is approximately about 12 inches from the camera, at 4 minutes I would not be able to see this knife if it were not in between these two knives. It's getting a little residual reflection off of these knives, so it appears to be glowing. I removed those two knives, and at a foot distance after 4 minutes, I'm not able to see the knife. So if I were to drop it on the ground in the woods or something, I definitely would not be able to see the knife, but I would be able to see either of these two knives. And like I mentioned, both of these knives were still glowing strong after about 4 hours, and they Victorinox guarantees theirs for 6 hours. I don't know if Rough Ryder has a guarantee on how long the glow properties on their glow knives will last, but it was glowing very strong after 4 hours. I mean, I could see it from across the room after 4 hours. This I could not see from a foot away after 4 minutes. However, if I were to bring it in closer, say 4 inches from the camera, I could see it at 5 or 6 minutes still, and it was showing up on the screen. After about 7 or 8 minutes, I'm like holding it within, let's say, 2 inches of the camera, and I could see it. And around at 10 minutes point, it was basically cupping my hand around the knife, blocking out any kind of light, and sticking my eyeball up against my hand, and then I could still see a faint glow coming from the knife at 10 minutes. Now, if that is what you consider a knife that glows in the dark, good for you. You can still see right there. I mean, look at that. It's still kind of got a little bit of glow going on with it. But I mean, we are talking about everything being darkened out and everything else. And right now, my hand is about 2 inches from the camera. Are you seeing a difference there compared to that at 2 inches from the camera? Much different. Let me turn off the light and take another shot at it. Foot away. Okay. Let's try and get the camera lens there. See that? But you can also see it way over there. Do you see any glow properties on the Cub Lockback? Of course not. But if we can cup my hand again around it, yeah, this makes for stellar. There's my hand. There's the hole. Do you see anything? I don't. In person, I can kind of see a little bit. I thought I was seeing the reflection of the thing, of the bolster, really more than anything. But no, there's no real reflection whatsoever of the Cub Lockback. And this was just lit up about 30 seconds ago. In a different light though, not in that tube I had before. But you can see the difference of the glowing properties of these different knives. And that's why, my friends, SMKW does not market this as a glow knife, because it really does not glow in the dark. It has some residual properties that allow it to glow for a very insignificant length of time if you are very close to the knife. But if you're trying to see it from any distance, you're really not seeing anything glow. All right, I'm done with this now.